How did you first come up with the idea for your script?
When writing the script, my group had an issue as a member wasn't present at the time, and we held several group discussions about the script as we had to choose between two genres, horror and comedy. We decided on horror, and in order to gain ideas, we watched several horror film openings, such as Dracula, Prince of Darkness, The Hole and Dog Soldiers. These films all seem to have something in common, like at least one female character got into trouble or was killed, so we decided that we could use like this stereotype of like defenceless female characters in our media product. We decided to have 2 female characters and 2 male characters. Ideally, we would have liked to have more male actors, but it kind of balanced the genders out and didn't make our product appear sexist.
Fancy a shag? Hey! What's your number?
Idiots following us?
Yeah. What influenced your ideas?
As I've already said, we watched several horror film openings. We used stereotypical generic conventions for a horror film, like blood and gore, murder, etc. I also think that the location that we chose to film at kind of influenced ideas when we got there, as it was kind of easier to influence our script and storyline for our media product once we'd seen the location.
How does your film fit into the genre, and how does it attract your target audience?
Our film uses the typical generic conventions that are required for any horror film, for example the use of blood and gore and murder. The stereotypical view that drunken boys are like seen as chavs or yobs, and that the girls are virtually defenceless when approached by the boys. Our target audience was 18 to 24-year-old males who would be attracted to the blood and gore of a typical horror film.
What processes did you go through from pitching your film to your finished product?
I was absent when my group pitched the idea for our media product. However, I did try to research as much as I could. My group pitched the idea to our teachers, and once it had been approved, we all began to work out when we could and couldn't film. There were a few issues raised as our media product had to be filmed at night, so we had to make sure that everyone was available to film. Once we'd finished filming our product, then we had to edit it on the school's computer. This also proved difficult as we could only edit during lesson time, as none of the group were really available to edit at other times. Once we had completed our editing, we had to add in music, and one member of the group, Steph, knew someone who could write some music. This way we didn't have to breach any copyright laws. Once we'd done that, we showcased the media product to the rest of the other media groups. We then changed anything that they disagreed with or didn't like, and then we were completely happy with it. So.
Give an example of a section of the film you particularly like. Can you give examples of what types of shot you used and explain why you used them?
I particularly like the clip where one character is running through the woods, and we used point of view shots, close-ups, and there was one shot where the camera was placed on the floor and the angle was pointing upwards, and one of the character ran past, and that gave the audience an impression of disorientation and confusion, but it would kind of make them want to watch more.
What type of institutions do you think would be suitable to distribute your product?
I think that local film councils would be suitable for distributing our media product, as we didn't have any budget to make it, so we can't afford to advertise it. But another way to distribute it would be film festivals, because it would gain support in order to advertise.
Why did you choose the location you filmed at?
We chose the location because it was near to all of us, which made it easy to access. It had the perfect scenery to go with our media products, such as woods, pathways and a few street lights which provided our lighting. We'd originally chosen to film at another location, which was Gentle Shore Common, but it was difficult for all of us to get there, so we decided to find a different location which would be more convenient.
Did you prefer filming it at this second chosen location?
Yeah, it was easier to film because at Gentle Shore Common there's no lighting, so we would have had to get someone to light it for us. But where we filmed before, it was lit. So.
Okay. What have you learnt during the production of your media product?
Whilst making our media product, I learnt how to edit properly and how to add soundtracks to movie clips correctly. I also learned how to put in special effects to a clip of a film to make it look better. And I also learned how to use clip-on microphones, but we were unable to use these when we filmed, as it was just the sound was overawed by the rain and the wind.
What do you feel you could have done differently to improve your media product?
I would plan more if we were going to redo it, but I'd also try and get more people involved to act in the media product.
Did you encounter any problems or difficulties while shooting your product?
One problem my group encountered was the fact that it snowed on one of the days that we were filming, so there was a continuity problem. Another problem was the fact
What did you do about that?
We just tried to not get the camera on the snow as much as possible.
Right.
So, another problem was that it was raining and really windy, which made it difficult to hear a conversation that we had filmed, but we decided to overcome this problem by slightly changing the sound that we used.
What would you do differently next time?
I think I'd make the story more interesting, definitely, and
How would you do that though?
change the sequence of events that happen.
Right, okay.